Hello. Hello. So I've been on a bus, a 40-year-old school bus with a maximum speed of 45 miles an hour, touring from Savannah around the Carolinas up into Tennessee, telling stories, and with a bunch of storytellers, and we've been telling personal, true, first-person stories about our lives. And I thought it might be fun to try and tell you guys one of the stories that I was telling on my tour. This is actually, a few years ago I was interviewed by the New Yorker, and they asked me if there was any specific moment that I became a writer. And I said there wasn't. I said I'm a real person, I don't have an origin story. And I lied. And actually, my origin story as a writer started when I was 8 years old, and I started going to a school called Aston House in the little town that I lived in. And the cool thing about Aston House, and the terrifying thing about Aston House, was it was close enough to my house that I had to walk home alone after school every day. And I had to walk down Hermitage Lane, which was this very, very thin, narrow lane with these high sandstone cliffs and trees that grew over the top. And it was completely dark and completely terrifying. And weird things happened in Hermitage Lane. One day I climbed up the side of one of the sandstone cliffs, and there was a kid about my age just sitting, looking incredibly sad. So I said, "Hi." And he said, "Hi, I've run away from home. Can you get me some food?" And I said, "Okay." So I climbed back down the cliff, and then I thought, I don't have any food. So I climbed back up the cliff again. And I said, "Hi." And he said, "Hi, have you got me any food?" And I said, "Oh, you must have been talking to my twin brother. He promises people food all the time." And if you got further down Hermitage Lane, you reached the Hermitage. And the Hermitage was this house that had been closed up for 20, 30 years. And my sister said she once saw a man looking out of one of the upper windows. And we all agreed it must have been a ghost, which made it even scarier. But I was lucky, because walking home, the same time that I was walking home, were three big boys from a different school. I was at Aston House, a small privately owned private school, fee-paying school. These kids were from Blackwell Hollow, where the tough kids went. So I would get to walk home accompanied by tough kids, which was great, because then I didn't have to be scared. And I didn't have to be scared going through the Hermitage. I didn't have to be scared as we went past the Hermitage, past the apple orchard, where these bitter apples, these sour apples, you could pick them and eat them and have a stomachache for days. And you'd reach Herentide. And Herentide was owned by a man called Lord Glendowney, and Lord Glendowney was dead. And nobody, we knew that he had children, we also knew the children had never ever turned up. The estate, a huge mansion, these beautiful grounds. Mythically there were gardeners, or maybe security people, or somebody who would stop you, and you never went there on your own, but there were 4 of us. And 3 of them were tough kids, and then there was me. So we'd walk over the beautiful bridge across these clear pools. We went to this amazing rock garden, and the other kids shocked me. First of all, they pissed all over the rock garden, and then one of them took a dump. And in future days, whenever we'd go past, I'd look down at this little bowl of rock with a turd in it, and it would slowly grow and get weirder. Some moss and things seemed to be coming out of it, and I used to think maybe this turd would grow and cover the world, but it never did. If you kept going through the estate, you would reach this little imp house. I thought of it as the imp house. It was the playhouse for Lord Glendowney's children, and I am convinced was the reason why they never came back to that estate. It was a little house, one room, stained glass windows, and a red painted imp hanging from the front door like this. You didn't want to knock it. You didn't want to touch it. You didn't want to go in. And it was in that imp house the big boys said to me, "Do you know any jokes?" Well, I was 8. I knew jokes. I said, "Yeah. What sits at the bottom of the sea and trembles? A nervous wreck. What did the big chimney say to the little chimney? You're too young to smoke." And I said, no, we mean good jokes. Do you know any good jokes? And I said, "Well, what's a good joke?" And one of them, I think it was Jamie. Jamie was the oldest of the kids. He was taller, he had dark hair, he was only about 10, but he already had pre-adolescent acne starting. And he said, "Oh, hang on, in order to explain this joke, I need to tell you a little something about cricket." It's England, you have to know. Large red ball thrown down towards somebody with a bat, aiming at 3 pieces of wood called wickets or stumps, and if you hit them, the batsman is out. That's all you needed to know. So the kid says, "Right, all right, so Mickey Mouse is in his house playing a game of cricket. The ball rolls up his trouser leg and hits the middle wicket." And I go, "Right, I think that was a penis joke." And the kid says, "All right, I'm going to tell you a joke right now. All right. And you mustn't tell anybody this joke, all right? Because this is secret, all right?" So I say, he says, "All right, this is cool, right?" And she's outside, hanging up the washing on the line, and her name, is Fuckerada. And this man comes up, and he says, "Will you go upstairs and have sex with me?" So she says, "Yeah, all right then." So they go upstairs, and they're having sex, and then her mother gets home, because she's been out shopping or something, all right? So her mother gets home, and she shouts, "Fuckerada, Fuckerada," and he shouts down, "I'm fucking her as hard as I can." So I laugh to appear sophisticated. And I've promised that I will never, ever tell this joke to anybody. So when I get to school the next morning, I see 3 of my friends, I tell them the joke. They laugh to appear sophisticated. It's brilliant. It continues to be brilliant until the following afternoon, when I am sent to the headmistress's office. And I sit down and she says, "Neil, do you know any 4-letter words?" Now, I'm a kid who's relatively good at English, so I'm going, yeah, bath, this, that, cats, dogs, ants. I've just realised I could take any 3-letter word and add an S to the end of it. I'm going, I'm not in trouble, they just want a list of words. And I think that until she says, "Neil, apparently you've told somebody a poem about Mickey Mouse." And my little inner writer, my little inner editor says, "I can fix this, I can get out of this. I just have to rewrite it quickly on the fly." "Okay." And I say, "Yes." It goes, "Mickey Mouse was in his house playing a game of cricket. The ball rolled down the village green and hit the middle wicket." I think, God, I'm out of that one, good. She says, "Were there any other jokes?" And I say, "No." And she tells me to go home. So I go home. Walk home early, don't see anybody walking home, and I get home. And my mother should be home at 6, but she's not home at 6. And she's not home at 6:30. And she's not home at 7. And at 7:30 my mother comes home and she says, "We have to talk, let's go up to your bedroom, dear." So we go up to my bedroom. And she says, "Right, apparently you told some jokes the other day. One of the boys you told the joke to went home and told his mother. And she phoned the school and took him out of the school. And I know this because I've just been with your headmistress, who has informed me that if it wasn't that you actually would have been expelled from school today, except they weren't prepared to lose 2 sets of school fees. All I know about what you said, Neil, is you said something so bad that your headmistress was not prepared to tell me what it was. Will you tell me? And I said, and my mother said, whisper. And I leaned in and I said, fuck. And my mother said, that is the worst thing that anybody can ever say. And you must never, ever say that again. Do you promise? I said yes. And my mother went out, and she went downstairs, and I closed the door behind her, and then I went and brushed my teeth in my little sink that was just my size, and got into my pajamas, and turned out the light, and climbed into bed, and I looked up at the ceiling, and I said, fuck. 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 And I think that was probably the moment that I became a writer. Because that was the exact moment that I realized that words had power.